Welcome to day 4 of our Teen Purity Challenge for Parents. I hope you've been having an amazing time because I have. Okay, so today our challenge is on relationship and dating plans. Yes, you heard me right. A few years ago, the issue of dating, relationship, and all that was a no-go area. But today, this is not the case. If we decide to avoid these things, okay, we decide to assume or deny the fact that they are there, it will happen, it's a reality that we know on us, then we'll be completely living in denial and then pushing our children away from us. The more we try to stop them from doing these things, the more they will find ways to go around it without our knowledge. So my counsel is this: teach, guide, and set up plans to follow together. Getting into a relationship is sometimes replaced with the word dating. So whether you hear this person I'm dating, or this is my boo and bae, or this is the person I'm in a relationship with, it's the same thing. I mean, practically it means the same thing. What it simply means is when your child has that one person, that one special person that they're either seeing more often, they're talking to more often, chatting more often with, or going out more often with. Relationship in itself, sincerely, is actually not bad. It's not sinful. It's not wrong. The only problem with it is that it's, especially these days, it's now an opportunity for either party, one person in the union, to demand for sex, or for both of them to just feel committed to giving sex. People, and this could be girls or boys. In those days, it was boys that usually demand for sex. These days, I have my teen boys saying that, Tima, these girls are pressuring us. I've been dating this girl in school for the past some months, weeks sometimes, and she's just, she keeps telling me that I'm not good enough. I don't even know how to have sex. I never asked her for sex. And I'm like, seriously? Yeah, that is what is happening. So both parties feel this pressure. Even though teens want to get into a relationship, some of them just to feel among, some of them just to have that feeling of, okay, I've dated. What is there? You just want to brag about it. Bragging rights, that's what it's called. You don't want to have bragging rights that I've dated before and all that. Some of them just want to do it for the fun of it. Some of them just want to have that one person checking up on them. So how far? Are you okay? Have you eaten? You know that lovely thing. Yeah. But what is most important is the fact that your teens are very knowledgeable. So I always say to my teenagers, I don't care really what you do or what you don't do. My joy is that you are doing it with knowledge. Whenever I say they sometimes feel bad, I'm like, no. You think I'm gonna jump when I hear that, oh, you've done this, you did that? No, I'm not gonna jump. The reason is that I have taught you. I've been mentoring some teenagers for over 3 years. Some of them I mentored them earlier. I've done teen mentoring for about 20 years. So some of my teenagers are now teen mentors. They're adults. Few of them are married. So you can imagine that I mentor them for a period of time and then they leave, grow, go to university, and then move on with their lives. If I have to faint every time I hear the news of what one or two of them have done, I'm not going to be here today. So I tell them that is why I'm investing my energy in teaching you what is right. So that even if you go off course or make a mistake, you are not doing it like an ignorant person, like the person who said I did not know. Very, very important. Let them understand. Instead of saying you can't join a relationship, you cannot enter a relationship, tell them things like, okay, so when you're in a relationship, what will you guys be doing? Where is the line? Where do you draw the line? What kind of behavior do you want to get involved in? Because some youths are funny. Common, let me call it a common relationship. It's not a marriage relationship, it's not a courtship. Common small relationship, they will demand heaven and earth. Send me your new picture. You must follow me to this party. You must. Then they start practicing terrible, unthinkable sexual acts just because I'm in a relationship with you. If you leave this topic as a gray area, like you're neither here nor there, your teenagers will just assume. They will assume anything. They will assume the wrong thing. Many times they just assume the wrong thing. And then if you tell them it's a complete no-no, they would, without them fully really understanding or having a plan when to look forward to actually getting into relationships, then they will also find a way to get involved in relationships without your knowledge. Remember, when our children are teenagers, what is actually responsible, what is actually powering this sudden desire to get into a relationship, this pressure like, oh, I must get into a relationship, what is powering it is the hormones. There are hormones that are released in increased portions to our children as they hit puberty. One of such hormones, a very popular one I love to refer to all the time in my home, is the hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is also known as the love hormone. This is the hormone that is responsible for a sudden desire to hold, to be held, to just cling tightly, to kiss, to touch, and in some cases to actually have sex. Because this touching, clinging thing is what precedes, those are the stages of sex. So you don't just get up and start having sex. You start by touching, fondling, kissing, caressing, and all that. It's the oxytocin hormone that is causing this. So your child who looks so calm, so innocent, the hormone is still there, just looking for one opportunity to express it. And it's even worse for children who have physical touch as their love language. There's some, I know you know what I'm talking about. There's some children that want to hug you many times and you're like, leave me alone, allow them. The level of oxytocin, sometimes some of those children, is they need to express it. And if you happen to be the one that has to get the hugs, whether you're in the mood or not, you have to do the pecs, you have to do the pats on the back and all that, by all means, please do. But when you keep pushing them away, you might be pushing them to the wrong people. Rather than emphasize, that you must not get into any relationship now and all that, rather than also shield them. I see some parents shielding their children completely, totally. You are clinging to them, holding them tight, and saying you are protecting them from the opposite sex. You better teach them instead how to build healthy purity skills like impulse control, self-control, refusal skills, delayed gratification, self-discipline, etc. This is because, let me tell you something. If you shield them throughout primary school and secondary school, you're always with them. In church, they are with you. If they don't go to parties, events, in the neighborhood, they don't go out. Every time they are with you, they would go to university. Even if they go to university from your house, you cannot follow them to class. Even in day school, we hear of teenagers leave school. You drop them in school quite alright. They will leave class, go behind biology lab and touch and have sex in the toilet. We see it happen everywhere. So how much can you really, shield your children and prevent them? Yes, I'm an advocate for, don't overexpose them, but I'm also an advocate for knowledge. Teach them that when your body starts doing this, when a guy is holding you too tight, this is what to do, this is what to do. Teach them so that when those things happen, because the only thing that can fight that hormone and stop the hormone from just having its way and doing regrettable things later is knowledge. When you say, okay, I need to talk to you, I need to do this, I need to stand up from here and leave. It's only a hormone that will do that. I shared a lot of that in my book. I also had a similar experience. Twice, I was going to have sex with two people. Twice. The first time, I was completely ignorant. The second time, I was aware. So the first time it was by divine intervention, like I said in my video, someone just walked in. But the second time I was in that mood because I was having a down time. I had just been disappointed, with my results and all that. So I was practically weak. I just lay still. The only thing that got me out of that room that day was knowledge. Because while I was weak and lying down, somebody was saying you cannot do this. Remember, you're not having sex until you get married. Remember that if you start it, you get used to it. I was hearing myself talking to myself. So with how much I wanted to be held and touched and hugged and kissed that day, I stood up with my 2 legs and I left. A few of my teenagers have come to say to me when they were very close to these scenes. One of them was a boy. A lady undressed himself in front of him. All he heard was, "Don't talk, run." That's the code I give to them. When you find yourself in that kind of drastic situation, don't talk, run. I teach them to talk to themselves even in the heat of the temptation. So these are the kind of discussions you should have with them. Don't just assume that, oh no, they will just always be with their fellowship brethren, they will always be only with their classmates. No, sometimes they will be hooked to somebody that they really like. You cannot stop them from liking somebody also, or from having soft, tender feelings towards someone. No, you can't really. Yes, some children are naturally not that type. They just tell you, I'm not interested. Fine, okay, so that's fine. But generally, let them have this information. So while doing this, I want you to know that the foundation for purity is filling your child's love tank. And this can be done by speaking their love language. You must, dear parents, it is a matter of compulsion. You don't have a choice. You just have to discover exactly what your child's love language is. The primary love language, and then the next one, the secondary one. This is to enable you speak that language to your child so that your child actually feels love. Many times we want to love our children the way we want. No, you need to love them in a way that they can that's what they understand as love. I know that you have heard of the 5 love languages. It's a book written by Gary Chapman. He was the one that made this issue of love language very popular. He has even written books on them for teenagers, for children, and then for adults, for couples. I want you to go back and read those books. Go back and read it. You can even do the love language test online. Just click love language test and make sure that you assess all your children and know what their primary love languages are. We have 5 of them: acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts, and quality time. Many times when this love tank is low or empty, because some children are running on empty love tanks, nothing in them, no feeling of love from parents or from family members. This is what makes them go out in search for love from other people. Before someone will even talk to them, they have already fallen. No form of resistance. And the worst of all is when these people now speak their love language. So we had teen girls saying on Valentine's Day that the reason why they were agreeing to some boys asking them out and all that, really to do anything, was because they're going to take them out. They take them for shawarma, give them gifts of foods and all that, make them feel special. It's because it's not coming from us as parents. Some of them even get into abusive relationships. The guys are abusing them, but they are staying. The ladies are abusing them, but they are staying because that person is using the love language as a bait. So we need to be very careful. Please ditch every form of excuse and begin to love your child in a way that they understand and they would accept. Stop saying things like, I'm too busy, I'm looking for money. Let me speak in pidgin English. You say, now love, we go chop. Yes, your teenager needs, how long are they going to be with you? Very soon they'll be on their way out with their lives. So show them this love in every possible way. You feel that the way to show love is to buy gifts, but maybe all this child wants is quality time. Like one of my daughters will say, I'm talking to you, I just want you to listen to me. That's her love language. You can't try to manipulate her by dropping all types of gifts for her. Yes, that's okay, but that's not how she feels love. What she wants is to sit beside you, talk with you, talk and just share things and all that. That's what she wants. Love her in that way. Create time for it. You create time for what is most important to you. Please do this for the girls and for the boys. The boys also need to feel loved. Now, researchers say it's a proven fact that children and teenagers that feel loved and connected to their parents and to their families are less likely to engage in risky behavior. They have done the research. They are less likely because they don't feel like they're missing out on anything. Their love tanks are full. This love tank is actually also responsible for a high self-esteem, which serves as a defense against unsuspecting sexual abusers and heartbreakers. Remember, we talked about self-confidence and self-esteem as a purity habit. When your child has this habit of being self-confident, they don't just fall. Some girls just fall for everybody. There was a time a teenager I know got pregnant, and when we were asking her, why did you have sex with this boy, she said he asked me to have sex with him. Just like that. You just agreed. No form of resistance, nothing. Oh my goodness. We need to go back and build this. I want our children to walk with their shoulders squared up, very confident that I don't need anything, any of this kind of thing from you guys. If I'm doing this, I'm doing it with knowledge and just because I want. If your child still decides to go into a relationship earlier than you desire, please do not blame yourself. Just know that he or she, like I always say, is solely responsible for his decisions, her decisions, and their outcomes. Ensure that they watch out for anti-purity habits and activities that can serve as traps. Now, another no-go area while this is going on is sex outside marriage. The fact that your child is going into a relationship does not now give them the right to say that okay, but what else did in the relationship? Rather than have that relationship that includes sex, you better break up. Please, don't forget to sound this warning. I don't want to stop you from having a relationship, but don't forget that sex is going to wait till when you are married. Why? It is a sin before God. Please, let's stop tossing it up and down. The world has changed, but the world has not. It is a sin against God, against your body. That's the only sin that is a sin against God and your body, because their bodies are temple of the Holy Ghost. Using a condom, using contraceptive doesn't make it right either. It doesn't make it right. Those things are just a way of helping you not to feel too guilty. It doesn't change much. In fact, for me, it doesn't change anything. Yeah. So, however, if by chance they still dabble into sex before marriage, please reassure them of God's undoubting love for them as well as yours. So tell them something like, I might not approve. In fact, I don't approve of what you have done, having sex before marriage. I don't love what you've done, but I still love you. And I'm ready to help you and support you in every possible way. We're not saying that because you disapprove of what but they've already done it. It's better for you to hold on to them and not give them a good reason to disconnect from you. Don't push them far away, because when you do, they will go into the hands of wicked destiny destroyers. It's time for us to do our challenge for today. Of course, in addition to finding out what your child's love language is, what you need to do is to take your child out on a date, especially if you have preteens and teenagers. Just you and them. So if you have 3 children, go out with them individually. Don't do group going out. That's family dates. I want you to have personal dates with each and every one of them. So when you go out on that date, you have a plan, and your plan is to find out about their relationship. So you need to be in a very cozy, lovey-dovey mood and environment, and that's one way to go about it. Now, bring up the discussions, the conversations, and what's your opinion about dating, and find out, have you been in one, how many, are you currently in one, and all that. Then talk to them if they are not in any one yet. Talk to them like, when do you feel is ideal, and all that. You guys can go back and forth until you now agree on a particular time. Actually, ideal, when is ideal? The time that is ideal is actually relative, because some children are more mature than others. So the factor to consider when talking about the ideal time for dating is emotional preparedness. Is this child prepared to maintain and keep a relationship? For many people, it's sometime around university. Although our children are going to university pretty early these days, so you need to be very careful. Sometimes it's when they are about finishing university, sometimes when they're just entering, sometimes it's somewhere in between. Some parents have said to me, our relationship plan is 2nd year, 3rd year, whatever, but both of you should agree so that there is no quarrel, there is no fight. I want you to also tell them that they should know that they should be ready to handle heartbreaks, and that if they handle heartbreaks, you will still be there for them. I always tell my children that when you have a heartbreak, ice cream is your portion. I will take you out, you will take enough ice cream to calm your heart down, to mend your heart back. So you could throw those jokes like that so that they really, really relax and open up to you. Please note that after you guys agree, this plan, I think and I recommend, should actually be written down. Write it down so that you can refer to it from time to time. Then also talk about what your teens should do. Like when you feel pressure to go into a relationship, what are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? Write it down before time. Plans always help you to stay on course, always helps your teenagers to focus. The Bible says, please tell them, and you can end the discussion with this, that the Bible says that do not awaken love until it is time. So there is such a time to date. Tell them not to awaken. Say, if you want to start this thing at 14, 15, are you ready? Are you ready to awaken? You don't want to have sex before marriage, and you're in a relationship at 12, at 13. Can you handle the resistance when the urges come, when they're holding you, hugging you, touching you? Can you say no, really, when you want it? So talk about these things, and then just have that discussion and put up a plan. That would now be referred to as your child's relationship plan. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.